Hello everybody, welcome to a live race between Pix and KiebsGaming. We have both of them ready to go, so we're just going to get this show started. How are you doing?
I presume you're talking to me.
I am talking to you. I don't know how to say your name.
It's Jokey. J-O-K-I.
Okay.
And you're Mimo, correct?
I am Malmo.
Malmo. It's funny how that L looks a bit like an I. If you... I must confess I'm not too, what's the word, familiar with glitch mode, so I will be looking forward to some of the tricks that these talented runners will be performing during the race.
Yeah, this is this very special mode where the logic gets very convoluted, but I'll be here to guide everyone through it.
My eyes, they're burning. Going from Eastern Palace to Gannon's Tower, just like that. We're live now, yes? Yes, I can see the timer, it's kicking off.
We are about to start very soon. You can see it in...
T-minus 3 seconds. And off they go.
Both starting at Link's house. Usually the first thing you do here is you go and take a peek at the island, and then you splash into some water and land under a bridge somehow and take an item off of an old man.
And that powder there's a nice item to find off the start.
Kiebs actually
a little bit of a safety.
Kiebs revealed that the magic is dropping from these guards, which means that there's an easy source of magic to use said powder, which is a check that you can do without the hammer or the mitts in this mode.
Indeed. Pix there just picking up a bomb.
Also really nice to have before Kakariko. Not that they're necessarily going to rush Kakariko. Speaking of rushing, this is a very rare Uncle Rush from KiebsGaming. You might be familiar with Uncle Rushes in normal gameplay, but in glitch gameplay, people tend to put this one off a bit more.
Hobo under the bridge just gives up a big 20. And it seems as the uncle by the look of it. Nothing but big 20s so far. I wonder if we're going to get a map check from any of these runners.
We got a map check from Pix. We got Desert as a green pendant, and Hera and Eastern as crystals.
That's good.
What surprises me about Kiebs' opener is their decision not to go into the castle itself. With the starting sword that they have, they're able to just do the escape if they wanted to.
Good, but it is a time sink. And if there's nothing there, then, you know, why bother?
But if there is something there, it'll be that much harder for Kiebs to get back to versus Pix, who has, 2 guaranteed items on the uncle just waiting for him.
Kiebs is clipping up the mountain by the look of it.
Yeah, so take him straight into the old man cave. It's funny to go from such a, no glitches starter to something that is very aggressively glitched mode specific, going straight up the mountain with nothing. It's a little safer when you have the sword.
I know I don't like doing the old man cave without a lantern or a sword.
Now, one thing that's nice to have when you're up the mountain is the hookshot that Pix found in the woods. Normally people will have done the woods on the way to the mountain. In fact, I expect Pix to go up the mountain from here after checking Lumberjack. He'll take a different route. But having the hookshot's going to be a big advantage because hookshot gives you out-of-logic access to the top of Hera in a mode that doesn't necessarily guarantee access to the top of Hera.
And you also have East Death Mountain, of course, with the hookshot as well.
Yeah, well, the funny thing about glitch modes is you don't need the hookshot to do East Death Mountain, but you do want it to do hookshot cave if you end up with the moon pearl here. In fact, we're not likely to even see it used in that regard. But its biggest impact is on Tower of Hera right now. But funny enough, in HMG you're not guaranteed a big key, but there is a 1 in 6 chance that it gets placed in any one of the given chests, and there are 2 in the front that you can open, so It's not a bad chance to be able to just climb normally rather than clip from mire like you're supposed to. I like the simultaneous stair climbs from them.
Yep. We got a big key and a map on the ground floor of Hera.
A pixel probably go up a different way. Save a little bit of time. Already has the hook speed armed.
He looks like he's going to do Hera pop. Perhaps. Yep, there we go. We're setting that up nicely.
Kiebs finds the small key does not bomb jump across. I wonder if it's just either not knowing how, but it also might just be a resource issue, not wanting to use up the 2 bombs in his inventory.
Right into Hera pop there. For picks.
Cane of Samaria.
Ooh, red cane.
It's one of those later checks, but you'd be surprised how early it can come up if you Moon Pearls in Turtle Rock, for example.
Yep. And of course it enables all the tricks like Icebreaker and Ice Palace.
So we're still outstanding an item here. It's hopefully on Moldorm. We would like to have this key in our pocket to use in Swamp rather than have to use it in Hera like the logic expects you to. Because it's a lot more convenient to do it that way than to do it from Mire. You're supposed to get all 3 Mire keys and then use one of them in Swamp and the other 2 in Mire. Very nice controlled fighter sword Moldorm from both runners. I know Pix has some NMG experience, but Kiebs unfortunately takes a fall on the last hit.
That's nasty. I hate when Moldorm does that to me. Sadly, just a compass on Moldorm though. So I wonder if Pix is going to go in and use that basement key.
Yeah, he won't do it now because there's no fire, but it's something that will haunt both runners. Both of them are really going to want to put that off as much as they can. You might even see people save scum the key because the key is valuable in this mode. Alright, nice second try for Kiebs.
Yep. And Pix going back into the dark cave again. Oh, he hadn't done Gary the old man.
Yeah, he took the top route. The top route up the mountain, which takes you straight to Spectacle Rock in Hera.
Forgetting it was Kiebs that had done the old man.
So this is Kiebs showing us why we don't need the hook shot to get across the mountain. Using an old bonk setup that I don't see very often. The problem with the bonk is it doesn't actually put you on the pixel. You still have to adjust. But it puts you close enough to it that it at least gives you an idea of what you're supposed to do. And Pix going off the mountain in an unusual way. This will get him Graveyard Ledge, and from Graveyard Ledge, if he knows Tomb Raider, he can get King's Tomb. That's something Kiebs will not be able to do without the hook shot. King's Tomb can be got on its own though. It's its own separate save and quit. And Pix is rewarded with the flute. Flute's really good because we haven't been to CAC yet, so we can actually save time activating it instead of having it sit like a paperweight in our inventory in a mode that doesn't need it at all.
Yep. Straight into Chris Houlihan's room for Pix.
It's very common to see this route because you get a free Houlihan just by jumping off the mountain. It breaks your camera just enough to confuse the game when it tries to put you in a pit. It's like, oh, I don't know where to put you. I guess it's going to put you here so we don't crash. Game's pretty good at not crashing when you aren't trying to make it crash.
Yep, we get our first look at Paradox Cape from Kiebs.
Ooh, Pix going for the hook shot, clip through that block and misses. So I'll have to do this the normal way.
It's not bad, really. Having to come back in. Is rewarded with a glove for doing that, though.
Gloves, nice. You usually want to do back of escape basically as soon as you have a glove. The next save and quit should probably be the back of escape because it doesn't really get faster.
Yep.
It's 3 items.
Whenever you leave it, it turns out to be something important.
Now,
As I tend to find out when I run my seeds.
Speaking of something important, Moon Pearl sitting on Paradox Cave.
Yep.
It's a pretty early location. Pix will probably get it. And maybe even have some more items under his belt to have a better idea of where to go in the Dark World. For example, Hookshot and Glove together is really good for Hookshot Cave. You don't need the Glove for Hookshot Cave, but it's a lot slower if you don't have it.
You need the glove to lift up the stone at the entrance?
You do, but the funny thing about Hookshot Cave is it has 2 entrances, and only one of them is covered by a stone.
Right, okay. I was forgetting the other one from the floating island. Pix dashing round to Ice Rod Cave. Will there be anything interesting there?
So Kiebs got here without collecting Houlihan rupees. And won't have quite enough for Zora. If I'm doing my math right, we'll have to farm a little bit at the 20 rupee cave, or hope something shows up in Waterfall.
Yeah, it's a maybe, because as you say, if there's money in Waterfall, then he's going to be alright.
I think there's a 300 here, just judging by how much Pix has now, but it's just a little bit shy. It's enough that like you can find a couple 20s and be okay.
Checking the island, I suppose they did that off the start.
There was 3 bombs. It was the first thing they checked after Link's house.
Master Sword and a heart piece.
Ooh, it's a dangerous heart piece, because what can happen is you can get a full heal from it, and the animation of claiming the full heart will put you back in swimming, and then you won't be able to water walk up here. The good thing is it won't really matter to Kiebs, because Kiebs will not have to clip to that shield. Shield's not required.
What does the scamfish have today? A heart piece.
Just a heart. I think it's worth farming the 20 in here. The 20 is exactly what you need. And now we know that you're not going to get it. Yeah, he already lifted the rock. He was thinking ahead of time. Heads up play. We'll have just enough to do Zora.
Yep. Meanwhile, Pix is checking that catacomb under the sanctuary.
Pay attention to the key situation, because we like to use the Hera key, but you can actually pull a castle key into Hera to use in Swamp. Again, not in logic to do so, but now we know there's an item in Dark Cross. Pix might go to Dark Cross at some point and unlock a key door. Actually, nope, he's just going to spend it now. Says, I don't care. He's going to get the item now. He already knows it's an item because the map and small key showed up.
Yeah. Oh, it's not a bad play. Usually there's something juicy at Dark Cross.
Yeah, and when all else fails, you can do what the game expects you to do, which is to go into Mire and bring your key to Swamp. It's only really an issue when you have like a pendant Mire. You don't want to end up with their go mode being the Mire medallion because of Swamp keys. That would feel bad.
Entering Dark Cross now, by the look of it. Yep. Having trouble locating the chest. Big 20 there as a reward. Keeps doing his climb up the mountain to Graveyard Ledge.
Perfectly done. The Pix is apparently not done into Kingston. Did it into Houlihan instead, and I'm not sure what went wrong there. That looked good, but must have gotten an input. Probably what happened is he dashed off. You're actually supposed to walk off without quick hopping or dashing. But when you dash off, you get a slightly different hop that does not put you in the right pixel. Hopefully his mentor has picked up on that.
Yep. These tricks, a lot of them have to be pixel perfect, don't they?
Yeah, well in this case it's just a matter of doing the inputs correctly. Because there's nothing on there where you have to manually line up a pixel. But it is a lot of instructions, a lot of things to remember that's not necessarily intuitive. I think glitch modes are the first mode where you even have to worry about whether you're quick hopping or not. Some people don't even know quick hopping exists until they start playing these and their mentor tells them they need to quick hop and they're like, what is that? Okay, that looked good. No quick hop this time. Should just hold down. There we go. Kiebs is showing us the other way, the in-logic way of getting in, which is just clipping in to a spot where you can pick up the rock because the game thinks you're picking up a bush.
Interesting.
It's pretty fun to see these king's tombs line up so perfectly when they get there so different ways.
Just bombs though.
The pixel probably do... Well, I've said it that we weren't going to see the hookshot used for the mountain, but no, Pix is going to prove me wrong and actually use the hookshot here. This will get him his Moon Pearl.
School use of hookshot, we like it.
Kiebs is... I'm not sure where Kiebs is going. He is screen wrapped, so he's probably going to go to Hype Cave. We see Pod and Myra's pendant, which makes that key spending for Pix a little bit scary. But you can probably spend the Hera key and be fine. If you're really worried about it, you can save scum it and check the item. So the glitch Kiebs is doing is... You'll see it. He's going to jump off the mountain like 8 times, and every time he jumps it's going to put him farther down the screen.
See that?
Yeah, and when he transitions, he'll be all the way at the bottom. At Swamp Palace. Camera's a little broken, so
wow.
we'll have to fix it in Swamp. But it does get you here pretty quickly.
And he's able to get in, but there's no water.
There's no water. The swamp is just to get the camera fixed. Although if you really wanted to, like, and you were fancy about it, you could actually flood the dam in that state and do swamp. But he doesn't have the equipment to do that yet. Even if he did,
just a...
no guarantee that the small key is the first chest. Usually, 9 times out of 10, the small key is not in the first chest, and you're supposed to do swamp from the inside out.
It was just shortcutting to Hype Cave.
Yes.
And rewarded with a bow, a heart container, money, and more money.
Hype Cave is a good thing to start with when you don't know where you're supposed to go. In the Dark World, you don't even know what your crystals are yet. I think Pix will probably choose Hookshot Cave for that. Kiebs obviously doesn't have the Hookshot. I hope he remembers that the Hookshot is... Well, that he hasn't done the Lost Woods yet, because that's a pretty unusual thing to skip.
How likely is it that a hookshot's going to be there?
Gosh, both runners really hardcore committing to the Kakariko skip. Which I think even I would have been there by now just because of that flute. Having an active flute is nice for routing purposes.
It's one of the first things you want to activate in non-glitch mode. So,
What? Okay, Pix really wanted to talk to the poet on Death Mountain.
it happens to the best of us.
I won't judge. Some people like poetry. I don't really understand them, but why is he going off the mountain this way? I think he's probably just thinks that this is how you get off the mountain. It gets you there.
Maya shed here for keeps. Finding the Harry Potter coin and 10 bombs.
Did we catch the medallion? It is Bombo, so it is not the ether medallion. Pretty much any medallion that's not the Myra medallion is useless unless it's the ice medallion, aka Bombos.
Getting a free lamp there? Who said you need a cape for Bumper Cave?
Kiebs is getting some live instruction on where it's safe to transition, because you can see there's some trees on the screen, and if you do transition into them, you will get splinched.
Digging game for Kiebs. How many digs do we reckon? 7, 8.
Looks like one of those was the item, because we're out of here.
Yep.
The Kiebs will do 2 up teleports to get into the village. And they're going to high 5 at some point.
Yep. Clipping into the wall here. Must have some reason for doing it.
Yeah, it'll get you... There's another clip you could do that'll get you up again. 2 up teleports.
Entering the brewery. Getting another heart piece. Oh, that's clever. Must have taken them ages to figure out all this stuff.
Yeah, some of those mages are, you know, if you read the credits of the game, by the credits, I mean the randomizer credits, you'll see names like Yuzuhara and Pincus. And a lot of them came up with these strats. A lot of them I don't know where they came from. Sometimes people like, I would say like, Mr. Beyer and Don Vineyard, 2 mentors in this race, have both discovered glitches this year that have had impact. One of Mr. Beyer's discovered glitches was used in a GDQ GDQ run not too long ago, which is pretty cool to see. Don discovered a clip that gets you to Hammer Pigs that we might actually see the runners do because of the fact that Hammer has shown up here for picks.
Titan's mitt there in treasure game.
Oh, well, the mitts, we won't see the clip then, because it skips the mitts. That's no fun. Maybe they'll do it anyway for fun. It only loses a couple seconds.
Remember in Thieves Town.
Yeah, it's a funny one.
That, they're not going to have to skip the basement chest.
So if you're one of those people who refuses to go into Thieves Town without a hammer, you are not going to get very far in this race.
I tend to go into Thieves Town without a hammer, but then I find that there's a key item in that big chest that I need for later in the seed, like a medallion, and I'm stuck out of Turtle Rock without it. These runners make it look very easy though, doing all these clips.
Yeah, this is week 4. They've had 3 weeks to hone their skills in overworld glitches. It might be a little different once we get into the underworld. Pix has actually done HMG before. He was in the HMG tournament. But put down the game for a little bit after that, or at least put down playing glitch mode, so chose to join the mentor tournament to get a little bit of help on, you know, learning how to be competitive in this mode. I'm not sure what Kieb's background is.
Shaking my head. I have no idea either.
I do know that Pix has some speedrun experience as well. Which is why
That's
you see
10.
Thieves Town just looks like a dream. You know, he knows exactly what to do here.
Thieves Town is a very easy dungeon, particularly if you know the blind script.
It's an easy dungeon with a lot of RNG, so it can go sideways. It's a little hard, you know, it can only go so badly when you have red mail, though. So you saw Kiebs get beamed by a Zazak and only take half a heart of damage. That would have taken off a third of his health if he had green mail.
Stage of the blind script there.
The only stage that matters.
Second stage. Yeah, not perfect, but close to it. Nice blind fight there, well done. Kiebs getting the good news that there's 10 arrows in the big chest. So it was Pod and Maya that were the pendants, right?
Meyer and Shu. Yeah, Pod and Meyer. It's just concerning that Pix has Meyer marked as a crystal. Maybe he just hasn't gotten around to it.
Magical boomerang there under hammer pegs. Well, no part of that. This is looking a very clean fight for blind for Kiebs as well. That was a beautiful fight. Compass as the reward.
So this is officially the high five. Pix is going down and Kiebs is going up. With Kiebs not having done Lost Woods yet, it would actually be interesting if he goes back in here and takes death to get kicked out of the Dark World. Not before checking hammer pegs, though. You would do this first. I think if you... Unfortunately, you can't take the smith inside, because that would be a really cool way to get into the light world. It would make a little more sense, actually, to take the smith and save and quit. Since you're going to do CAC anyway, might as well bring the smith with you. That's a Kakariko check now for Kiebs. Pix has that idea. It's going to take the frog with him. I love to see this smith turn in coinciding with the Kakariko check. That's very cool. Very cool use of finding the mitts before CAC. Keeps doing the same.
Trouble jumping up that cliff.
Gets there eventually, though. Now, Kiebs won't be getting that lamp until he's ready to do Skullwoods, because he ended his route before going anywhere north of Village. Whereas Pix started his route there and passed right by it. But neither of them dipped into... Yeah, up is good, up is good. We do want to see Kiebs get the hook shot. That's not really how we want to see the race end. Somebody forgetting a location.
Diving into the thieves' hut, Kiebs picks up a heart container. So, refresh my memory, are any of the items logic locked by glitches in this mode? Say for instance, the mirror at K45.
Yeah, those are in logic. You're expected to do the glitches. Mirror can absolutely be in K45. It can be even be in Swamp in this mode. Since we can go inside out Swamp, we have ways to do Swamp without Mirror, without Hammer. So both of those items can land inside of Swamp.
He's making use of the powder he got at the start of the game. What does Magic Bat have us today?
It's so cool to see this Bat and Smith done together, and it's going to be done on both sides. Both of them are going to
Any
feel like,
other-
wow, I'm so clever for doing this, not knowing that their opponent did it too. But that's what happens when you have, you know, top tier mentors who are both known for routing, especially Mr. Buyer. And having a little bit of gumption yourself. It's hard to know what decisions are being made by the runners versus the mentors when you're just watching the gameplay.
Well, I think when I was playing the mental tournament last summer, they kept track of things for me and then just gave me suggestions of the kind of things that I could do next. But it was largely dictated by the items you got, that which way you went, if that makes any sense.
I'm a little concerned about Pix. Okay. Mr. Buyer knows enough to tell Pix at least where it's safe to go up and down here, because Pix did break his camera. So now he has to go up on the pyramid side to keep it safe. But he's okay now. You can actually see the broken transition below him. That would have hard-locked his game and lost a ton of progress.
Yeah. He's swimming up the pyramid now.
Yep, it's what like you do. And like the frog swimming along with him. I'd love to see
It's
it.
brilliant. Is he going into Pyramid Ferry?
Indeed.
You do that? You can.
You sure can. This is a new glitch. This was discovered last year. Which means it's not in logic, because the logic is rather old. Probably would be. Nice
Silver.
vanilla silvers and something to put in your quiver.
Silver arrows, that's a nice reward for that.
Kieb's the first person in Kakariko by a lot. Doesn't seem to have found anything of interest yet.
No, but he is doing the vanilla Kakariko checks, which I don't think Pix has done yet.
Pix
Or
will
has he?
do them now. So Kieb's had to do a little detour to do the Lost Woods. Get the hook shot. Also has already turned into Smith and Gunpowder. High five.
Indeed. High five. Nicely remembering to toot his flute at the weather vane.
Easier to forget.
It is.
You know, it's not too early to talk about Go Mode, because it really looks like all of our Go Mode items are right next to each other on the tracker. We just need Fire Rod, Ice Rod, and Bombos. Because flippers have turned up for Kiebs, which are needed for Swamp.
As you say, they could be anywhere. Like we could have a fire rod locked behind Mothula, perhaps.
It's not that glitched, so Fire Rod is still required for Moth. If you want to see that, you would have watched the No Logic tournament that we held last year. It's hard to say last year. I can't believe that was last year. This does have logic. There are certain glitches that are required, mostly in the overworld. And they're pretty much all some form of out of bounds. To do Fire Rod lists Mothula, you have to do a glitch that's not even legal in this mode. But it doesn't mean that they'll be easy to find. The Fire Rod can still be in Turtle Rock. They can be in Turtle Rock a little bit more often in glitch modes because you can go in through the middle and not necessarily need the keys that are in the front.
Yep. Well, you're talking about the Mimic Cave entrance there, right?
Yeah, like the big chest. You can just clip right in there. You can clip into the back too, but that's not in logic.
But then it's more likely that it's going to be something horrible like Book in Turtle Rock leads to Mirror on Ether Tablet leads to Fire Rod in somewhere that's mirror locked.
There's actually not that many places that are mirror locked in HMG. Mirror is kind of a joke, but it's still really nice to have. We don't laugh at the mirror when we find it, like we do with the flute, but I don't think it's ever really a situation where you need it for Go Mode unless it's your Ice Palace entry. And even then, there are ways to do it without. I mean, you can enter Ice Palace with just just a moon pearl in a bottle. Or even just a moon pearl and splash deletion. Like, it's pretty easy to skip items in the overworld. Oh, I didn't even pick up that the smith was what gave us the flippers, because that's pretty spicy. I think if they hadn't skipped Kakariko for this long, smith would have been harder to justify.
Smith. I never thought I'd ever say that.
There's a quirk of hybrid major glitches where one of the underworld clip sets in logic is in the Ice Palace lobby and it skips the Freezor kill, which means that you can enter ice without Bombos or Fire Rod. And it means that the Bombos and Fire Rod can get placed in Ice Palace. So that's a nasty location that can turn up. We haven't seen it yet in this tournament. It's pretty rare, given that there's 2 of them. And there's only 3 items in ice.
Yep. Never say never, though. A45, they're not having anything.
I think both runners are overjoyed that the one item they found in CAC was in Smith. Because you can put off Kakariko for a long time and find out that it has like 3 swords and Fire Rod, mirror, and just be very sad about it.
Are you moving the tracker there slightly?
Yeah, I did notice it was cut off a little. I thought I could escape notice. It's hard to restream and comment at the same time. You know, Pix has the opportunity to do pendant Lambo here. It is a green pendant. Kiebs does not have that opportunity because he doesn't pick up the lamp. Doesn't have the fire source to get to the back. This could actually be a time loss for Pix if he chooses to do it.
Could be. Or a time gain if Sashralar has something in his house over by Easton. It really does depend where those go mode items are.
I guess Kiebs hasn't done Hobo yet, so we'll be cleaning that up. It's a little easier with flippers. Easier, though not necessarily faster. Because the flipperless version puts you straight into the bridge if you get it right. It's an interesting way to bonk. Alright, Kiebs is doing what I would say is the low-hanging fruit of the seed in the current state, which is Eastern Palace. It's a very, it's not a very go-modable dungeon, so you might as well just do it. For Kiebs, it's a little bit less appealing because there's no lamp. He'll have to do dark rooms, and part of it will be out of logic for him. For Pix, it's a no-brainer.
But Pix is leaving it.
Yeah, Pix still has some desert to clean up, but I expect to see, especially if he does Lammo here, I expect to see this next. Because then he could turn in the green pendant. Ganon's Tower is also a good one for Pix because he has the ability to climb if the key shows up. But I think both of them are hoping that the fire rod turns up, especially Kiebs who can't climb without fire.
Aura there for Kiebs in the front of Eastern Palace, which could prove useful.
The book?
The book. Allows them to check Bombos and Ether tablets and even a ped check if they want.
Yeah, it's not too bad when you have the flute to check Bombo's tablet, even if you've already been here. You just flute to 7 and clip. It's only one screen away. Well, 2, really. So, Pick's opting not to do the green pendant.
I think it's a bad call what Kiebs is doing at the moment.
You think it's a bad call to do Lampless
Eastern Palace. Have we got someone joining us? D. Blickley.
This is a commentary stream. Are you here for commentary?
No.
Okay. You are live on stream, so we'll have to...
Hello?
The intruders.
I can pull us into the lock channel if you want. This doesn't usually happen.
That's fine.
If it's somebody
The more
actually
the
trolling...
merrier.
If it's somebody actually trolling us, I will absolutely ban them. I'm a mod. But I think they just a little bit lost. Pix is going to Eastern. Ooh, you gotta be careful there, Kiebs. There are hearts down here at least.
Yeah.
But it's a little dangerous for Kiebs because there's no protection against the Igors in the back. On red mail, they still do a whole heart of damage.
But he could also jump in a pot here to get a fairy
He can.
to top up.
That can be a little dangerous as well in its own way. I see a lot of people like hold their sword out because, oh no, there's a skull flying at me. And you tink off of the skull and it puts you in EG, which is not good. It's not what you want. You actually have to leave. Save and quit out or mirror. But Kiebs just goes straight in. Kiebs knows his dark rooms. He's just gonna do it.
Yeah. I think even in a glitch mode tournament, it's still important to know, you know, the tricks that you would expect in a regular tournament, like dark rooms and IPPJ and icebreaker if you can do it, and diver down, of course. It just makes the playing of the actual game that much easier.
Yeah, I would argue it's even more important in glitch modes where you can have lower percent go modes because of how much more access you have to the world. Like, the fact that Mire is usually flute locked usually prevents you from having to do Dark Mire that often, but because you can just clip there with nothing but a Moon Pearl and Medallion, you have the opportunity to do things like Dark Mire a lot more often. Or GT climb without the bow, mimic clipping, that kind of thing.
So, as I say, I'm not as familiar with glitch mode as I've not run it before, but you know, it is fascinating to see these guys do what they're doing. Now we see if Sassy has got anything. Oh, we don't. Kiebs never got his lamp to do Desert Palace.
Well, and Pix chose not to, so we won't be seeing Green Pendant turn in at all. For a while, at least. I think that's fine. You have a lot of crystals you can still do and a lot of density. Neither of them has been to Hookshot Cave yet. Neither of them has been to GT. I'm getting a little bit more and more concerned, though, about Kieb's fire source situation. Because he's not really incentivized to go to anywhere near that lamp that's on Bumper Ledge without finding a fire rod first to do Skullwoods. So if the fire rod is locking Skullwoods, or locking, sorry, if the lamp is locking fire rod, then Kiebs might be in trouble.
Ether tablet containing $50. Terrible to pick up, but you know what? Not what we want at this stage of the game.
So Kiebs looks like he's thinking Hookshot Cave. 6 very quick items here. Plus at least one more. Probably at Catfish. Maybe at Turtle Rock. Catfish is the more common one to do from here.
Yep. Super Bunny Cave first, though. What do we have in these 2 chests? Lincoln, you missed the Armos Knights fight there on Pix side.
Yeah, Pix had silvers. So I didn't even think about this weapons advantage Pix has from doing the Pyramid Fairy swim. I don't know, did we see hammer pegs from either of them? I think we may have seen it from Pix. But Kiebs starting at Hype Cave, they both did hammer pegs. Right, because they had the mitts, of course. The usual way to get there. Easy to forget.
Just 20 rupees so far in Hookshot Cave. $50. Hot piece.
And the ice rod. Good. You always
One
want
of the go mode items.
You always want to see ice rod before fire rod. It's so much easier to find the fire rod. But the fire rod is also in some ways
Commentator's curse there.
more painful to be without.
Commentator's curse there. Yeah, we'll find finding the fire rod.
Yeah,
Easy.
I know. It's going to be an ice palace right next to Bombos. It's going to be amazing. Who says I'm not cursing it on purpose?
Yeah. Meanwhile, Catfish dishing out a tempered sword.
Excellent.
That's a nice find.
Pix will probably get that too, unless he gets bold and goes into TR instead, which I don't expect to see without Fire Rod. Pix is going to use the hammer to get in here, which might be faster from where he is, you know, from already being at Ether Tablet. It's not hard to run over here. Some people like to open the front of TR for various routing reasons. He won't be able to, I don't think. But
We don't know which coin is needed, or do we, yet for TR?
yeah, you know, Kiebs ran right past it, and I just didn't pay attention because you don't need it. It's usually a time waste to open it. It's Quake.
Quake.
It's not even the same medallion as Meyer, so you can't do any logic reads.
Room, Gannon's Tower, just containing 2 keys. We don't play big key guessing game in this mode, do we?
We don't. And we
Such
don't.
a shame.
We don't make fun of Tile Room either. In Tile Room, you just do it because it's probably an item. You can skip it if you know it's a key. But usually you're in here, you're not in Go mode yet. You just do everything. It's like cross keys. Tile Room is a little bit scarier though when you don't have Fire Rod. You see a lot of people skip it. And if Fire Rod is in Tile Room, ooh boy, that's a hard one to get back to.
No, it's there in Fire Bar Room.
Oh, yeah, Fire Rod Room. Kiebs is thinking like,
I'm not
What
sure
is this
why he's
route?
bonking.
I mean, he just really wants to do the Fire Rod checks. Still not in Go mode though. We still need that Bombos, so we're not just climbing GT, right? I hope you know Bombos is for Meyer and not Ether. That is good though. At least it means that the lamp isn't. Oh my god, we are just climbing. Okay. This is bold. This is extremely bold because there's nothing stopping Bombos from being in GT.
He's stopped. He's
Oh,
thinking.
I'm silly. Bombos isn't required. Meyer's a pendant. We're in Go mode. So Swamp is now a question though, because yeah, it's a good thing they didn't spend their hierarchy. This is why you don't spend your hierarchies, because you don't want to be in Bomba's Go mode, because that's your access to Swamp. Luckily, both runners have the hierarchy still, so Kiebs is just straight up in Go mode. Pix is about to be. It's an exciting race.
Could we have a sub 1 hour seed here for Kiebs?
Could be, but there's still a lot of dungeons left, and Swamp is a slow one. It takes a lot of picking apart. Swamp is a lot like untying a knot, especially when you're missing mirror.
You can't just climb up, beat Agatu, and then drop down the hole to fight Ganon, though.
Ganon will call you a dingus and say you need to do your goal, because your goal is 7 crystals.
What can I say? I'm a dingus.
But it is funny to see, like, somebody find Go mode in GT and not have the mirror and have to walk out to climb. I think you can make an argument for actually not climbing here and just saving and quitting out. If you think it's faster to clip back to GT again than it is to backtrack, then you will save time, because not only that, but you're not walking to Ganon. If you're doing GT last, you're getting transported right there, ready to do the fight. So I actually wonder if Pix will do that, save and quit out, and do the rest of the dungeons.
Gauntlet's fairly clean here.
Oh, Pix is walking out. Pix is doing the same thing. This is incredible. I love the quick thinking of backtracking. It's not something that's usually on your mind, but it's like, well, I guess I'm gonna climb. I'm gonna find my way back one way or another. And this was pretty quick, especially the way Pix did it. So maybe it's faster. It's hard to know. You have to add up the time it takes to do that backtrack plus walk to Ganon at the end after your last crystal to know if it's faster than just clipping to GT again.
So how many crystals do they each have?
Well, one of
Pix
them, they have the same crystals, right?
I can't see the tracker very easily on Pix's side.
So Pix has Eastern, Hera, and Thieves. And
Yep.
Kiebs has Eastern, Hera, and Thieves.
Yep, so they've still got 4 dungeons to do each.
Yeah, it's not going to be a sub-hour, but it's sub-hour Go mode, which is awesome. Especially awesome because I have a mentor race after this, and I'm very glad it's not a 3-hour seed. That would have been awkward. But yeah, I agree with Brett
Yourself,
here. I think it's probably faster to save and quit out of Firebar and do the climb later. There is a benefit of this that you might find something up here that's easy to get to that makes... the mirror is the big one. That makes things faster. It doesn't look like Kiebs is thinking that because Kiebs just walked past a chest that would have been very easy to get.
Yep.
Kiebs is just going for Go mode, which is totally fair.
This is Go mode for Kiebs.
So Kiebs technically has a lead. Like, this is... You know, the lead is who is farther along in GT right now. But there's still a lot of game left, and one thing that can swing the race is how well they do the Swamp to Hera clip. The Hera to Swamp clip. So I wouldn't call the race just yet. This can swing multiple times as we get into the end. There's also another clip that they'll have to do. Turtle Rock. Turtle Rock, if they know the mirrorless Turtle Rock wrap, that will speed them up a little bit compared to going in through the middle. Kiebs missing Lamp could slow him down in Turtle Rock and Pod. Oh, we're not doing Pod. Yeah, Lamp will probably not slow him down at all, actually. You know what will, though, is the lack of silver arrows. That is definitely an advantage for Pix.
Definitely. Because he doesn't have to swordless cannon. Just lost for words there a little bit.
Silverless Ganon is fine, but Kiebs also doesn't have Lamp, so really has to get Torch Glitch. If I were Kiebs, I'd actually pick up a potion before going to Ganon. Just for that reason alone. Gives you a little bit of safety on silverless. I mean, you don't need it, but if you miss torch glitch, you do.
Cleaning up Aga 2 there.
So Pix has this goal of clipping out of the Aga 2 arena at least once during the tournament. We'll see him go for it. Yes, it's in the top right corner, and it speeds up the cutscene a little bit if you do it right.
So is that the only purpose for doing it? Just speeding up the cutscene?
Yep, despawns the bat, triggers the little Tutti Flutti a little bit earlier if you do it right. If you do it wrong, you go to Ice Palace and soft lock. It's great.
So then we find the Quake medallion at the top of GT that Kiebs skipped.
Yeah, probably won't be seeing that in use. You can make an argument for like if the mirror turns up, you could do Turtle Rock into Skullwoods using a fancy clip. But without the mirror, you can't actually do that because you won't be in the Dark World when you come out of Turtle Rock. You'll have death warped and gotten kicked out of it. So Kieb's just gunning it for Ice Palace. Ice Palace is a really good choice here because it's easy to get to, has some on-the-way checks that could turn up the mirror, and doesn't get any faster with anything else they could get. Kiebs is also showing us our first Underworld clip, I think, for the game. This is the one that skips Freezor. It's also just faster to do Ice Palace this way, even if you don't need to skip Freezors.
Interesting.
It's a nice little clip. It's not too hard to do. He's thinking about it. If you don't know this, you can just stand on the railing above the switch and just mash your face into the railing and place a bomb, and the bomb will be low enough to hit the railing, to hit the switch through the railing. That Aga pattern is such a tease. You get what looks like a free triple and Aga throws a blue ball off of you and you only get one.
Trouble with Icebreaker, but gets it first time.
Kiebs is going to go for this chest. I think part of it is you need a key. So
Yep.
if that chest is a key, it's worth getting. And if it's not a key, it could still be an item you want. I think it's faster to get the chest than to lift this rock. If it's a key.
Misses out on the chest though in that room.
That chest is not worth it. That's a very slow check. I mean, if Kiebs is going to go for checks, he would have done top of GT, and he didn't. Once you see somebody skipping top of GT, it gives you a bit of an idea of how much in go mode they are, and they're pretty heavily in go mode. Kiebs needs to watch his magic here, so doing Freezer chest would have been a bad idea. Wise of him to skip it. Curious where Pix is going as his first dungeon. This looks like it might be Turtle Rock. He actually knows what the TR medallion is, so he might do a front clear to maybe get the big key. It can be a little faster if you get the big key in the front to do it from the front, but if the big key is in the middle, it's a pretty big waste of time.
He's dropping in on Cold Stare. This looks like it's going to be a fast fight.
Ooh, maybe.
Missing the spin attack on Cold Stare though.
It's really hard to get that spin when you've not gotten phase 1 smoothly.
He's out of magic, so he can't do fire rod damage on Cold Stare either.
No.
This is just a slow fight, obviously.
It's also getting dangerous. I don't think there's anything in the bottle that helps. I think it's empty. And I think Cold Stare one-shots him. Once you get cooled down to 1, it's usually pretty safe. But that looked a little bit scary.
Manages it though. Rewarded with a dungeon map and a crystal. And you were right, Pix is heading deep into TR.
Yeah, if the keys line up correctly, you can actually just do front to back, which is a little bit closer to what Pix knows. Pix knows. Don't tell him I said that. I think a lot of
broke
people.
up there.
Oh, sorry.
Don't tell Pix. Don't tell Pix. Don't tell Pix what?
That I said Pix knows. Oh, there's our bombos. So it doesn't look like we might actually get enough keys to progress. You could still get a key from Chain Chomps and move on, though. I mean, this is the amount of keys you get in vanilla as well. You get one small key in here, and that's it. You get another small key in Chain Chomps.
Kiebs making his way to Skullwoods.
So if Pix can do front to back skull, he has the opportunity to actually do that fancy clip from Skullwoods, from Thievestown to Skullwoods, because he won't have death warped. You only death warp if you're doing back to front. And look, he does get a key. I think he can actually make it all the way to the back now. I think that's guaranteed once you've gotten that key.
Yep. Did he pick up a big key already in Turtle Rock, do we know?
I don't think so.
So, is he going to skip the vanilla big key chest, or...?
I think he has to get it.
He has to get it?
Because it might be the big key. In fact, it is the big key if he doesn't have it. Yeah, he's got Fire Rod out. Which I guess could just be the key steal. Ooh.
Yep, and he is heading to the vanilla big key chest.
This race got very interesting because we don't... Because they're in different dungeons. Yeah,
they are.
It is there. It's hard to know who's ahead when they're in different dungeons. I mean,
Kiebs had that marginal lead in GT. So.
But you know, it's that lead alone was offset just by not having silver arrows. So it's, I considered them tied at that point. Kiebs is about to get Crystal 2 of the remaining crystals, and Pix is working on Crystal 1 still, but it is one of the longer ones. It'll be long for Kiebs too. Ice Palace will be quick. Especially if he gets a good Cold Stare quick kill.
Muscular fight there for Kiebs. Picking up 20 as his reward. What container in the big chest of Turtle Rock?
Yeah, Pix.
Sankar, in fact.
Pix does have to get the big chest. When you do the big key chest, you have to get the big chest if you're going this way because it can be a small key required to progress. He has made it so that all 4 small keys are required, but he also knows that there's a small key in this chest because once you've gone past to this point, the logic is NMG.
Yep.
I think so. Turtle Rock will be next for Kiebs as well. I don't think I saw him. Yeah, I didn't see him flooding the dam yet. Turtle Rock is also a good one for just getting checks that might make other things faster. By other things at this point is really, for Pix, just the mirror for Swamp. But for Kiebs, that would be Silver Arrows. Or the mirror. Oops. That might have been intentional, actually. Yeah, it's a damage boost strat for laser skipping. You can only do it on the top and bottom chest, though.
Just $20 there for that
okay, I think
chest.
that's not intentional. Ooh, Pix. Pix has Burna. But not a whole lot of magic. I would actually drink the red potion. I think that would be wise.
Or could just open the safety door. Okay.
Pix doesn't want to die because I think he actually does want to go to Skull after this. If he dies, he will get put in the fake Dark World because the game expects you to not be in the Dark World when you haven't defeated Aga 1 yet. If you were to die in the Overworld, it would just give you the same continue menu for Link's house, etc. But if you're in the dungeon, it'll give you the dungeon save and continue menu, but still put you in the Light World. That behavior was patched in No Glitches Rando, but we put it back in for glitches.
You sure do know the game inside out and back to front. Even I didn't know that. Gosh. There are so many modes to this game.
Oh, Pix has to be careful here. He's getting a lot of fire rod shots that don't count. Oh, this is terrible. So Pix is dead. This little route isn't going to work anymore. Getting back to Trinex isn't the worst thing in the world, especially if he knows the mirrorless wrap, which I don't think he does if he hasn't done it already. But you can still at least skip the first half of the dungeon. But that is a huge time loss for him, and, you know, a good chance for Kiebs to pull a bit of a lead.
True. I mean, it's unlikely at this point for Kiebs to go and do the pyramid fairy to get silvers, is it?
I don't expect Kiebs, given his go mode behavior, I don't expect Kiebs to even open things that are on the way in Swamp. Like diver down chests might get skipped. I might have gotten that magic if that was Kiebs. But there's a lot of full magics in Pod. Alright, Pix is getting instruction on how to set up for the mirrorless clip, which is interesting to see, because that's a hard one to learn. Oh yeah, Kiebs ran out of magic. So it looks like that magic did matter. This is a hard one because I think like nobody who does this clip actually knows the visual cue for it. We all just kind of YOLO it. I know one person who has an actual setup that involves like lining up on the bush and buffering up a couple times, but most of us will just like eyeball it until it works. Because you usually have enough bombs.
See, he's trying to clip up to Ganon's tower without the use of the mirror.
Yeah, and it's not really about being in Ganon's tower. It's about being at that screen where there's a slope you can use to initiate your clip to Turtle Rock. I think the problem with... Yeah, I just don't know this cue either. I think he's too low. You can tell he's too low because he's not actually hitting the bomb. If he was too high, he would hit the bomb and not clip. My strategy is I eyeball it and then I will use the cue of whether I'm too high or too low to adjust my position for the second bomb. And I usually get it on the second try. I usually don't get it on the first try. So we are going to the clip spot the long way around, which is still faster than failing the bomb over and over again. So in a race, you might want to drop it at some point. Pix also needs a bomb to open the door once he gets in.
Keeps taking a death.
Oh, was that an intentional death? Maybe? Yeah, Kiebs went in through the middle. Okay. I didn't even notice that. Kiebs doesn't really have to worry about his fake Dark World situation because he's already done Skull. I also think hasn't opened the front of TR like Pix has. I didn't realize Pix didn't open that chest there. I mean, he was in go mode. Fair enough. He just needed a key.
If he has better luck this time with Trinex.
Yeah, he has to time his rod shots a little differently. What was happening in the first fight was he was hitting Trinex while it was unstunning, which cancels the damage. And basically just waste the rod shot. It's total nonsense. Like, it shouldn't be something that you have to worry about, but it is. It looks like he has a bit of a better rhythm this time, and, like, really just excellent refight.
That was very well done.
Nice little slaps in the face for giving him trouble. Kiebs going in now with the same equipment, more or less.
Pix finishing his Trinex fight.
Kiebs also has the fight very much under control, just never giving Trinex a chance to get any of rod shots of his own out, so to speak. Nicely done.
Yeah, it can be a tricky boss Trinex at times, particularly if you've only got a Master Sword.
The Master Sword
Tempered Sword,
fight.
it's a bit easier.
Oh, the Master Sword fight is so hard. Because Pix is not doing the clip to skull after all, which he could have done. Maybe he doesn't know it, but also that clip has hard lock risk. So it's kind of scary. If you're not super confident and practiced at it, you probably shouldn't be doing it in a race.
Looks like he's focusing on Swamp.
Yeah, Swamp for Skull is bold, especially before, well, Skull and Ice. Swamp does
Ice
route... Swamp does route nicely into Ice because he can just run out of here. He'll actually be in the light world. And swim over and lift the rock and go in. But Kiebs is a pretty commanding lead now with just Swamp to do, whereas Pix has Ice and Skull. So it looks that Turtle Rock death was pretty costly for Pix.
He's going back into a Hera.
Yes, this is how you do Swamp in HMG. He's going to take a Terrapod up. And you see that small key that he's got. It's a very important small key. The logic expected him to go to Meyer and bring a Meyer key in and clip into that Herapot room, the one with the fairies in it, and then go up. But we're shortcutting that by going straight from Hera. And this diagonal slope here is, well, like all diagonal slopes in the game, pretty clippable. And it just so happens that the thing below it is the floodgate room and swamp. And Pix is the first person in Swamp Palace. But the thing is that he's not really in Swamp Palace. He's actually still in Hera. If he were to go to Argus now, he would not get the crystal from Swamp. So he has to walk back out and in again, which is why he flooded the dam. When you flood the dam, it stays flooded until you've screen transitioned in the overworld, or fluted, or hard reset your console. But you can actually save and quit, and it'll stay there for some reason. The save and quit just doesn't clear that state. So when you save and quit to the mountain, you can get into Hera without doing any screen transitions.
How cool is that?
It is really cool. It's pretty important that he unlocked doors on the way out. This one especially because you can actually go through it without the key and be stuck on the other side. And this is how you do it without the mirror and without the small key. You use a different small key, and you don't need the mirror if you've already flooded the dam.
Genius how it works.
Yeah, it's pretty clever. The fact that the dam stays flooded was one of the big secrets of the game that was discovered by accident just a few years ago. It made this possible, this whole sequence. Pix is thinking bombs. I'm trying to think of what he needs bombs for. Probably Ice Palace. You want one just to clip through the front door. I don't know if you need more than that, though. So Pix is a little bit ahead in Swamp, but 2 dungeons behind, so Kiebs does have a pretty substantial lead at this point, even with the silvers difference.
Yep. And I don't think Kiebs is gonna go and do left side swamp.
No. I would be surprised if Kiebs even does the waterfall chest. Pix has even... Well, Pix is doing it. I wonder what Pix is looking for.
It's on the way. You can't
It's kind
blame
of on
him
the
for
way,
that.
but Pix doesn't need anything. Maybe half magic? You don't even need that.
Half magic makes
Yeah.
things nice and easy.
Kiebs not doing diver down is bold. But, you know, very consistent with, you know, this go mode behavior and probably the reason he's still ahead.
You were right, he did skip waterfall room check.
Ooh, nice dash out. That dash out is hard. It's like a frame perfect thing you have to do when you go through that door. It's not obvious that it takes a lot of skill to do that, but it does.
It's going to make use of that silver arrow.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to hit Argus going up and down. I would actually recommend if you're doing Silver's Argus to hit him from the side. His hitbox is a little more generous in that direction.
Rewarded with a heart container for finishing him off.
Kiebs will be getting his second row of hearts. Kiebs is going for a more traditional quick kill, but once you miss it, it's hard to get back. Might as well just do the spins. Pix will probably just run to ice, taking advantage of fake Dark World. The reason we're in fake Dark World here is because we never actually went to the Dark World.
Yes, that's right. We came here from Hera.
Yep. And we didn't do any world transitions, and you kind of have to do world transitions to go to the Dark World. That's how the game works. So, Pix will go to a very brown ice palace. Kiebs will just go to Ganon. It's very hard for Pix to come back from this at this point. Kiebs is doing the thing that I said would be a good idea, which is to buy a magic potion for Ganon. And I think any runner would consider this. When you have the flute, this is a really good insurance against running out of magic because you missed Torch Glitch or because you wanted to use your cape.
It's a good call.
If you had the lamp, it would be justified to skip, but I think when you have just the fire rod and the tempered sword and the bow, I think it's a good idea.
Nice icebreaker there for Pix.
So
These guys make it look so easy.
I'm trying to think if Pix is behind by Trinex amount or by a different amount. It really does feel like Kiebs has just maintained basically maximum speed since GT, since Go mode. And it's really hard to catch up to someone who's ahead of you when they're just going at maximum speed the whole time. So even without the Trinex failure, I think Kiebs would have still been ahead.
Or a nice fight on Ganon for Kiebs.
Yeah, Kiebs did miss 1-1. Looked like he was going for it, but was facing the wrong way to get the trident spin.
Phase 2 for Ganon.
Yeah, I think if you didn't buy that blue potion, you wouldn't be using Cape here, and you'd actually have a longer phase 2. The Keys is taking advantage of having bought the blue potion, saying, I'm just going to use it for making Ganon faster.
Meanwhile, Pix is having a fairly good cold stare fight, getting that spin strike on the 3 puffs.
Yeah, this is like the one time where Keebs wasn't at maximum speed, and Pix actually did gain time on this cold stare fight. Mostly from having Bombos and not missing the spin. Do we have enough? Wow, okay, Keebs knows some torch glitches. Like, I think,
typically the
that was a really
torch.
That was a really good torch glitch.
Yeah, typically the torch on the left goes out as the final tile drops in the top left-hand corner. So that's how he got the timing of that.
Yeah, but not only that, but you have to have the timing of how far away you are from the lamp. Either Keebs just uses that location always and knows the timing for that location, or is familiar enough with the speed of the fire rod shot to improvise a location. So, does look like Pix is about Skullwoods and Ganon behind Kiebs, which is fairly close. I mean, it was always close, but even with that Trinex failure, it's still close. It's close enough that, you know, if Kiebs were to fail Ganon right now, it would be anyone's game.
Yeah, we
Maybe
don't want to.
We don't want
jinx.
to wish that, but, you know, at this point we can say that because it's pretty much in the bag here. Kiebs has killed Ganon. Not a whole lot.
GG's to Kiebs.
GG, a very fast time. It's sub 120, which is like, took me like a year to get that time in overall glitches. Very
Fantastic
nice.
news. Is this a best of 3, or is he winning this round and moving on to week 5?
He is winning this round. This is not a bracket, so it's a swish. So everybody is moving on, and they'll just get paired with somebody at their record. There will be a bracket after week 6 of Swiss. That will be a best of 3 HMG tournament. There will be 2 parallel brackets running of, you know, sorted by the upper half
Swords.
of and the lower half. Same, yeah, just like the swords in Go Mode Podcast Mentor Tournament.
Are we going to do an interview?
I think we will. If they're willing to.
What do you think ran it for Kiebs this game?
I think it really was just that, you know, more efficient dungeon clears at the end and not failing Trinex. Because they both hit Go Mode pretty close to each other. Kiebs is a little faster, but not that much faster. I mean, it was faster by the amount of time it took Pix to do the extra checks that got him the bow, so that was about a wash.
Okay. I'm just trying to think how the gaps emerged, whether like Pix didn't get an item as quick as Kiebs, or
I think they were about the same. I mean, they routed really similarly. Both of them did the same, like, Smith into Kakariko play that won them the game, like, giving them the flippers. That was, you know, if this is a bigger race with more people in it, there would be people who don't do Smith and don't get a sub 120. That would not have been... That would have been a very different experience for them. Because you get the fire out in GT and you have so many dungeons you can full clear, and the only thing you get to go mode is Swamp. So Pix is doing the correct thing here. It is actually faster to run out of Skullwoods back, believe it or not, and clip to Ganon here than it is to save and quit.
we have our winner in chat now. Welcome, Kiebs.
GG, nice time.
Thank you, appreciate it. Owe all the routing decisions to Dawn there.
There was some really fancy routing. Would you believe that the Pix and Buyer did the same thing with Smith into Kakariko play?
Yeah, it was pretty hilarious. Just like the number of items and the exact items early. We were chatting. It's like, I don't even know, 10-minute mark. It was like, we could just super jump and do Thieves Town and then do CAC. Like, okay.
So were you thinking
the
about...
The plan was to transition.
You were going to die in Thieves.
Yeah.
Yes.
We were gonna just go to Light World, and then I get mitts, and I'm like, well, I guess I could do Hammer, Pegs, and Smith, and...
I had the same thought. I said, well, you're going to walk back into Hammer, you know... And then I was like, well, now he's doing Hammer Pegs, and he's kind of far away from Thieves, and if you're here, you might as well pick up the Smith, and if you have the Smith, you might as well save and quit, because it's probably faster than Death Whipping, and you can't go back in Thieves if you have the Smith following you. And and Pix was doing the exact same thing at the same time. Except Pix was going north to south, so Pix took the Smith all the way to the pyramid and swam the frog into the pyramid to get silver arrows.
Oh, is that where they were?
Yep. Vanilla.
We were gonna do that. I forget what made us determine not to do that.
It was probably starting at the Hype Cave. You didn't have a good reason to go back to Pyramid.
Yeah, I'm like, by that time you're in go
I
mode.
was gonna do Pyramid after GT. That was the plan. It
Right.
was GT, Pyramid, Fairy. But then we got fire on GT, and it was like, well, that's go mode, so don't do anything else.
Yep. Both of you, I actually didn't know you were in Gomod. I just completely blanked on Meyer being a pendant. And I was like, well, but they need Bombus. What are you doing? Why are you walking out? And I thought about it a little harder.
It was the technical go mode because we didn't have Meyer access or mirror, but I still had the Hera small. So I'm sure Quake is somewhere because I think Quake was Meyer access, and I never got it. So I'm not sure if Hicks got that.
It was Bombos for Meyer access.
Oh, it was Bombos? Oh, it was
You
Quake
didn't
for
even know.
TR. That's right.
GG's to Pix, by the way. Finishing at 124 something. Immediately reset the timer. Thank you. We have a race room, though. We'll be hopefully bringing them in.
How easy is it to learn all of these glitches?
I'll tell you, week 1 was a struggle. Like, just because I had never done any glitching at all. I found that the limited new things for HMG versus Overworld wasn't too bad. The bomb setups are pretty easy, and I found the citrus clipping not too bad. So yeah, the first week was kind of rough, but every other week's been better and better.
The hard part is the logic.
GG picks.
I remember I learnt so much from the mentor tournament last year with my mentors. So it's been incredible, really. But anyway, we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you guys. You've done really, really well tonight. Pix, welcome to the commentators booth.
Yeah, GG's.
GG's.
A few disasters.
Yes,
What
Trinex.
What disasters did you have?
I somehow ran out of magic on Trinex, and I had not opened safety door, so because we came in from the front, we were in go mode when we entered TR, so we were going through the front to get like the big key, and it was so deep, we just like kept going, and I just somehow ran out of magic and had to like save and quit out and try to come back in.
Trinex can cancel damage from the rods. If you hit him at the wrong time, it'll actually like unstun him and not count as damage, which is unfair. And that's a lot of what happened there. There was just a lot of unstun hits from being a little bit off rhythm.
But was really happy with the early game round, like everything they kind of built into the whole CAC sequence. That was very fun.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but your opponents did the same thing with Smith and DeCac, which is so fun to watch. You were doing it together at the same time.
We felt like geniuses.
It was like so nice. Like, I'm assuming you did Hera first, and then just routed like Paradox and went from there, because it was amazing to get that route.
So we did Hera, and then from the old man we went down to Graveyard Legend to like a Houlihan to South Shore, and then we came back later for EDM, which then led into like the whole Thieves Town sequence, and it was just like, oh cool, nice nice mids. Let's we should probably grab the Smith. These are kind of sketch.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. Because my practice HMG seed, I was glove go mode. So this one was like, oh, here's your 15-minute knit or whatever time it was. Super early.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else like super interesting about it. I guess like the Meyer medallion technically is logical go mode, but you never actually needed to set foot in there. So I'm guessing you guys dodged Meyer, pod, everything.
Dodged Meyer and pod, yeah. I had it backwards in my brain. I thought Quake was Meyer, and just got corrected here. So I was thinking that we were not actually logically in go mode, and we were just using the Hera small to go to swamp. I never found Quake. So Quake was TR, right? And you said you went in the front.
Yeah.
So where was Quake?
I think Quake was top of GT actually.
Yeah.
Wait.
it was-
Oh, I didn't open anything up for GT because I just knew that we had the key to do Swamp. So once we found
Yeah.
Fire Up, just walked out.
We
Yeah.
were just hoping to stumble across the mirror to make Swamp a little bit faster. So we were grabbing like the on the way stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. I probably should have done that too.
I was surprised to see you with less equipment for Ganon, especially. So aggressively go-moding dungeons, walking past things like the diver down chest. There was a lamp sitting on bumper ledge. You were never getting that. The bow was
Yeah.
something you were getting either. So it ended up saving a lot of time for you. But it was, I think picking up the potion was a good call.
Yeah, the way I was playing, I thought I definitely need this potion because I almost died on Cold Stare, and then tried to die on Argus. Just ate the puffs like 5 times in a row. Yeah, I was like, I need the potion.
I wasn't worried about parts at all. I was worried about magic. No lamp, no nor silvers. You have to actually get torch glitch, no half magic. So like having a bottle just in case you miss torch glitch or if you want to use the cape like you did. Very good. Being able to speed up the Ganon fight.
Yeah, that was the nice part about the potion. It was just like, okay, now I can just cape and it doesn't matter.
I wasn't scared about magic at all during that fight. I had an aggressive cape usage and all those aggressive triple attempts.
Misses, yeah, the aggressive misses, yeah.
It was close for one of you on Cold Stare, I believe.
Yeah, that was me, yeah.
Yeah, after the Tridex debacle, I was like, nah, I'm using the bombos. I'm not taking chances of an errant like fire rod shot.
Well, Pix is
I don't think we had Bombos then.
No, we didn't.
yeah, it's in TR.
We were
You did
hoping to
ice
find a
first.
mirror kind of like along the way so you can just mirror out to the back and do it that way.
Mirror would have been really nice, but it was cool to see you untie the knot of Swamp Palace and be able to explain how that works. As more people, learn HMG, having what races to watch where that is done and you can actually see what it looks like helps a lot.
Yeah, Bayer had the thought about the sequence of like you entering Swamp from Hera puts you in Fake Light World when you finish, and so then like you just get to dash like straight across the ice, and it ends up like routing super cleanly. So that was an interesting thing that I had not really like thought about or considered.
Yeah, it was super nice.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense.
But anyway, that's the stream for tonight. I do have to end it now just because I am mentoring in under an hour. So thank you for putting yourselves out there for this live restream and excellent show of skill and this extremely fast HMG seed.
Good luck with your week 5 races.
For everyone else, be sure to give our runners a follow and my co-commentator Jokey.
It's been a pleasure, Malmo.
All right, good night, everybody.
See you again soon.